Welcome back to the Not Just a Pony Ride podcast, where our mission is to educate everyone in the equine assisted services industry to help produce high quality professionals. And today we are going to get on another stepping stone to those high quality professionals with another certification program that's out there. So this episode is going to be with Diana from the Herd Institute, and she's going to talk with us about her experience with the program and obtaining her advanced equine facilitated learning certificate with Herd. I met the Herd Institute and got introduced to them at a Path International conference a while ago, and I was just very intrigued by their method. It's a little bit different than some others that are out there. So Herd is actually an education partner with Path International. That basically means we know that their education is of high caliber, and it also opens Path members up to some perks within their education system, so that part's nice. Anyway, I'll let Diana tell you all about the Herd Institute. Enjoy the episode. Welcome to the show, Diana. I'm so glad to have you.
Thank you so much.
So today we are going to talk about the Herd Institute, and Diana is a graduate of one of their certification programs for equine facilitated learning. And my goal with the podcast is just to share all the different types of certifications, all the different types of education that's out there, because I do believe that knowledge is power. So the more knowledge and the more instruction and the certification programs and things that are popping up, the more we can educate ourselves, the better practitioners we'll all be. So I'm excited to learn a little bit more about the Herd Institute today from you, Diana. Do you want to introduce yourself and kind of tell us how you ended up where you are now?
Sure. So I'm Diana Bezdedeann. I am an EFL advanced graduate of the Herd Institute. I first came to the Herd Institute after doing extensive research myself, because as you said, there are so many certification programs, and picking kind of the best track took me some time. Ultimately, I landed on the Herd because I wanted to incorporate an unmounted approach. So for a while, I thought I wanted to be a therapeutic riding instructor. But then when I sort of started looking away from that, I came across the Herd Institute and their values of commitment and belonging, diversity, equity, inclusion. Like a lot of people kind of throw around those terms, but to me, the Herd Institute really embodies that. And so I received my foundation level certification with the Herd in April of 2022. And then I actually started working for the Herd as a interim administrator in August of 22, and am now the executive assistant at the Herd Institute. So it's been kind of a journey from student to staff. It's been really interesting to kind of have both perspectives for the role that I do, because I'm sort of the first and main point of contact for a lot of potential students and current students. So having been a student myself, anticipating sort of the kinds of questions we're going to get, really knowing the program and the curriculum like inside and out. So
I love that. Well, that's why you are just the lady to have on our podcast today. So we can talk a little bit about those certification programs. So is Herd an acronym?
Yes. So HERD is an acronym that stands for Human Equine Relational Development.
I love that. Okay. So how long has the Herd Institute been around?
So the Herd Institute was founded by Dr. Veronica Lack in 2018.
Okay.
So it's been a couple of years, but we are still fairly new compared to other organizations.
Okay, yeah. So that was kind of what I was trying to kind of wrap my head around, is when Herd first started as an organization, were you guys always a certifying organization, or was it sort of a center that offered these programs first and then you got into education?
No, it was certifying organization from the beginning.
Yeah, okay, very good. So why do you think that education is so important to the Herd Institute?
For us, the way we approach certification is from a like compassionate horsemanship piece. So we bring the horse, I mean, it's kind of in our name, like we bring the horses in relationally. So what that means essentially is like one of the required texts in both of our certification programs is the 25 principles of the compassionate equestrian. And so we weave in those things into, our trainings and educating our students, not only like how they can do this work, but how they can do this work and put the horse first. And I think that's the piece that oftentimes is missed. So not just thinking about it from the human perspective, but thinking about it from the equine perspective as well. And then we look at them as our equals. So we say that we have our human facilitators and our equine co-facilitators. So we're kind of on the same level as them.
I love that. I think that you are absolutely right. That is a piece that, as the equine assisted services industry in general has continued to grow, that kind of putting the horse first, or on the same level as the participants in the program or the patients or whomever you're working with, is incredibly important. And we at Hetra try to do that too. I mean, not only does that contribute to safety, but it also contributes to a much better well-rounded experience, I think, for the participant as well. So how does this, as you're talking a little bit, I hear kind of some themes with Gestalt work. How does it compare to like Gestaltism?
So Dr. Veronica Lack is Gestalt trained. And so a lot of the philosophies and principles of Gestalt are kind of the core foundations of both our EFL and EFP certification programs. And we actually have quite a range of folks that come in. So we have some people that come in with kind of having that background and that experience. And then we have other people that come in with totally different background or experience. And, for them, it's very eye-opening.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a different approach for sure.
Yeah.
So you guys offer 2 certifications, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the EFP, which is the Equine Facilitated Psychotherapy, and then EFL, which is Equine Facilitated Learning. Let's talk a little bit about the equine facilitated psychotherapy first, or if you have some themes across them. Like I know you have like a foundations and an advanced course for both, right?
Yes.
So you want to talk to me a little bit about kind of just the introduction of that, like how are they different and kind of what makes them tick?
Yes. So we offer 2 certification programs, like you said. So our equine facilitated learning and equine facilitated psychotherapy programs. And basically the difference between the two, our equine facilitated psychotherapy program is for any mental health practitioner, so licensed counselors, social workers, or graduate students who are currently working towards their licensure and want to incorporate horses into the services that they offer. And then equine facilitated learning is our track for kind of anyone who doesn't fall into that category. So maybe certified life coaches, educators, organizational leaders, trainers, human resource professionals, equine specialists, or anybody that's interested in incorporating horses into whatever they're currently doing or what they would like to do. And so that's kind of the biggest difference between the two. We do have a couple of graduates who are both EFL and EFP certified. The thing with them that we sort of emphasize is scope of practice. It's sort of Dr. Veronica Lack had a great quote about that actually from one of her books that I would love to share. So she said that scope of practice is the thin gray line that exists between licensed mental health practitioners and coaches and educators. It's not just about stepping into the mental health setting that you're not equipped to handle. It's about stepping into a mental health setting that you don't have consent to engage in. If you're a therapist offering equine facilitated learning sessions with an organization, you don't have consent to do therapy. And I think that's a perfect example of there might be some overlap in some of our students, but kind of just depending on which, population they work with or what group or client they have out that day, might depend on which modality they work in. So we do have some overlap. You're absolutely correct. But that's sort of the main difference as far as, who's eligible for these programs. And then otherwise, we offer both programs in a hybrid model. So combining online learning with in-person, hands-on, we call it practicums. And those requirements vary across both programs, but we believe that a mixture of online and in-person practice makes for, a really, really well-rounded practitioner. Because, there's only so much you can learn online, and there's only so much you could learn in a 4 or 5 day
Right.
training.
What's the time commitment for each of these? Obviously it's not self-paced because there is like a practicum piece to that. But about how long does it take for a graduate to get through a program?
Yeah, so both of our programs are designed to be flexible. So there is a little bit of self-paced. The thing we tell people is the thing that really matters in terms of timing is where and when you want to do your practicum. So a lot of times for people, it's like based on which geographical location they are closest to or is easy to get to. So for our equine facilitated learning program, it's designed to be completed within 6 months. And again, that timeline might be bumped up or down depending on what practicum they'd like to do. And then our equine facilitated psychotherapy certification program, we're actually in the process of currently revamping. We just went through a revamp of our EFL program. And so that one is designed to take 12 months, so a little bit longer.
Okay. This episode is sponsored by Stable Moments. Did you know that there are over 400,000 children in the United States foster care system? Most of these children have complex trauma needs, which makes them ideal candidates for equine assisted learning programs. If you serve or want to serve children in foster care, Stable Moments has a plug-and-play program model utilizing community mentors and equine assisted learning to develop life skills and heal developmental trauma. With their online certification program, you can become certified in this model and start serving kids by next season. What's even better is the program can be funded by Department of Children and Families, and the mentors are all volunteers. To learn more, head over to stablemoments.com and check out their free webinar, Healing Trauma with EAL and Mentorship. When you put together these curriculums and things, what kinds of knowledge do you draw on, or, what kinds of other principles might you use? I see kind of on your website, you talk a lot about like the herd methodology and that kind of thing. So what makes that different?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. We have our 3 key principles at the herd, and this applies to both certification programs, are here and now, what and how, and I and thou. Each of those, again, stems from Gestalt, but it's really like to kind of summarize it. It's being in the present moment with the horses. The what and how is the phenomenology piece. So what is happening in a session and kind of letting participants make their own meaning of what's going on and kind of hold back, whatever our interpretations are. And then the I and thou is the connection piece between every being in the session. So between horse and client, horse and practitioner, client and practitioner, sort of all the intersections. So
yeah, that's really interesting. And that is very different than any other certification program I've really heard. When you talk about certification programs and the person graduates, how does that apply to them professionally? Does that make sense? So a certificate is different than being licensed or, something like that. Like, how does that play into your professional resume, I guess, should I say?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And we get that question a lot from people because, as you know, the equine assisted services industry as a whole is not regulated. Like there is no certifying body that says that we have to be certified or we have to have any kind of training, really. But I think for us, it's again, like it's more than just a certificate or a piece of paper. We have this saying that we say, a sense of belonging is the heartbeat of the herd. And we wholeheartedly believe that because when graduates are, have completed their program, we still maintain contact with them and they still receive kind of graduate benefits. So in addition to, listing them on our website and find a practitioner, they get access to our herd resource library, which has recordings from our conferences and virtual summits and research articles. They can keep up with their supervision and mentoring with a herd faculty member. They have access to our private herd community Facebook discussions group, which a lot of them go to, and they'll post about something that's going on with their horses, or if they have questions about anything equine related or business practice related, they can always come back and reattend a practicum or audit a training just to refresh their skills. So it's more than just, okay, here's your certificate, you're done. Like, we really maintain kind of that effort to, keep in touch with them, get their feedback, what do you like about being a herd member? What would you love to see us bring in, and kind of bring in those changes, because it is, a community of people. So
I mean, I love that you're providing that continuous support. Would you say you're also kind of a membership organization?
we are, and we do offer general membership to anybody who says that, right now I'm not ready to get certified, or I'm already certified through another organization, but I love all the things you're doing, and I would love to stay connected to you and receive maybe some of these benefits. Obviously, our graduates have, more benefits than our general members, but general members would still get access to our Facebook group, and the resource library, and they could book in for one supervision, mentor, or consultation with a faculty member of their choice. So there's still kind of that opportunity to like dip their toes in and experience the herd, without being a certified member.
Right. That makes sense. Because it is a big commitment to kind of decide that you're going to complete a certification course. I mean, not only is there financially a commitment, but also just that's who you choose to certify with. So offering that membership piece is nice to kind of, like you said, dip your toe in the water. So do you guys also, not only do you do education on like how to facilitate, groups or sessions or whatever it is that professional is doing, but you also offer a little bit of mentorship on like the business practice aspect of it as well, right? Like for people that wanted to start their own business.
Yes, we do. And that piece of it is because, we have, like any organization, we have people that come in from all walks of life. We have some people that come in, they're already working for a program, and they're going to, continue on as their staff or an independent contractor. We have other people that come in and they say, I want to start my own business. So it really varies. And people have varying degrees of business experience. So we're always happy to kind of share with them, things that have worked for, both us and our faculty mentors and supervisors.
Does the Herd Institute have like a home barn, like where you guys operate out of, or do you more kind of like satellite into different centers?
Yes. So our headquarters are in Orlando, Florida, and then yes, we do offer our practicums in other locations across the US as well as the UK. We do have a global membership. So
Very good. Very good. What kind of a staff does the Herd Institute have? Are you guys offering any of these sessions like for someone to come experience? Like if they want to experience the Herd Institute difference, you know what I mean? In like a session, can they participate in one put on by one of your credentialed professionals and like get a feel for that? How does that work?
yes, we do have some instructors, for both our EFP and EFL certification programs that range from being based in the UK, North Carolina, Michigan, Ohio, Virginia, Canada. So, they're kind of all over. But yeah, we do offer, occasionally we'll offer intro to the herd workshops, where like a 1-day kind of taster experience to, talk about sort of everything we're talking about, the 3 key principles of the herd, working compassionately with horses, the differences between EFP and EFL certification programs. So we will be running more of those in the future for anybody who is interested, whether they are thinking about applying or whether they're already certified in another organization, whether they're kind of a newcomer to the field or a veteran. So yeah, we do offer opportunities for people to experience the herd model prior to signing up for certification, because like you said, it is a big commitment.
Yeah. Are you confused about equine assisted learning? Do you want to bring EAL to your center or advance your EAL journey, but you're not sure where to start or how to expand? Do you need support in choosing a certification or support for how to market your current offerings? All of your answers can be found October 24th through the 26th at the inaugural EAL Summit, brought to you by Leadership Adventures. The summit is hosted this year at Healing Strides in the beautiful Roanoke Valley, Virginia during peak foliage season. You'll learn from experienced educators, centers, researchers, and practitioners on how to begin or advance EAL at your center and add programming and revenue streams to support your center's sustainability. In 2.5 days with 24 options for sessions across 3 tracks, all eligible for PATH International CEUs, hear 4 featured speakers, panel discussions, visit qualified vendors, attend networking receptions, dinner entertainment, clinics, and more. You'll walk away with tons of new EAL ideas, resources, tools, and connections. Join Leadership Adventures at the EAL Summit from October 24th through the 26th to collaborate, innovate, and accelerate your EAL journey. Tickets and all the details are available at www.equineassistedlearning.org and in the show notes. So for the EFP, obviously you have to be some kind of, mental health practitioner or a student of a mental health practitioner. But for like EFL too, like how does that application process work, or what would make someone a good candidate versus someone who's not a good candidate?
Yeah, so the application is available on our website. So they would apply. And then once they apply, we have all applicants for both our EFL and our EFP certification programs sign what we call our commitment of belonging. And this is something that we put together because, like I said, for us, DEI is more than just, words. We actually have some action behind it. So, making sure everyone reads through that short little document and kind of agrees to all those statements. And then the application will go to our admissions team for review. But really the things that we look for in terms of eligibility is, obviously people's experience with horses is going to differ. And we do have a question on the application that says, what is your horse experience? And a lot of times folks will fill it out and they'll say, I can ride up to this level. And, I did this many shows. And that's not really what we're looking for, because we do teach from an unmounted perspective primarily. So we're more looking for, can you be safe and compassionate around the horses? Have you had interactions with horses before? Are you afraid of horses? Things like that, which sounds like common sense, but that's kind of the biggest one. And then because our programs are also have an online component, what's your comfortability with online learning? Is that going to be a challenge for you? If so, we can help make accommodations. But if you feel like it's going to kind of hinder your participation, might not be a great fit. So it's really things like that. What's your understanding of EFL or EFP? How might you incorporate it? Kind of get them thinking about how might you incorporate it into what you're already doing or what you'd like to do. So that's sort of the criteria.
Okay. Do you guys accept only a certain number every year, or is it kind of a rolling basis that you accept people into your program?
We do rolling admission. The only time that we might say is if we're full for a certain practicum. If someone has a preference, like they want to come to Florida in December and, we're full for that practicum, we might say hey, you're a great fit. Unfortunately, Florida in December is full, but we have another one coming up in, March. Would you like to attend that? So yeah, that's kind of the biggest thing. But yeah, usually it's rolling admission.
So I do have one more question about kind of terminology, because terminology is such a hot topic in the EAS industry. I think it helps us build credibility if we're all on the same page. And I've heard both EFL and EAL used in our industry. Why do you guys choose to use facilitated versus the, equine assisted learning versus equine facilitated learning, or what makes them different?
Yes, that is a fabulous question and something that I ask myself too. Um, I think again, like it goes back to kind of our core values and principles of being on equal terms with the horse. So assisted kind of has that connotation of like the horse maybe being viewed as like an object versus facilitated. They're viewed more from again, like on kind of on equal terms.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Totally makes sense. But I mean, like foundationally, we're talking about similar things. It's just kind of a wording, just the words you guys choose to use. Is that?
Yeah, it is a wording thing. And,
Okay.
I think that I know that they came out with the terminology paper a little while ago. I think the words could be used interchangeably, but I think it's just a matter of preference.
Yeah, I like that the connotation of facilitated better than assisted for something like what you guys do. So that's really neat. Very good.
Yeah.
Well, I have learned a lot about the Herd Institute today. How does someone get in contact with you guys if they want to learn more? What's the best way to do that?
So the best way to contact us is to either reach out via our website, or we're very active on social media through Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. We spent a very short time on TikTok. We did not last there in that space. So you can reach out through our website or social media, or you can email info@herdinstitute.com for more information.
Awesome. I will link all of your guys' info in the show notes below. So scroll down and click on that. Check out the Herd Institute, see if they're a good fit for you. And I just thank you so much, Diana, for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you so much for the invitation.
All right. Well, before I let you go, I always end my podcast with the same question for the season. In this season, it is, what is your golden rule? So if someone were to say, oh, I know Diana, she, lives her life like this, what would they say?
So my golden rule is there's a quote that says that one who never asks either knows everything or nothing. And so for me, it kind of just says like, I don't want to, assume that I know everything, kind of be open to learning new things and be open to trying new experiences. Because, if I never try it, like I'm never going to know if I like it, which, can be the case with horses or anything else in life. So yeah, that's kind of my golden rule.
I love that. I've never heard that saying before, but I'm one of those people that I love learning. I love education. So if you think you know everything, you don't know anything at all kind of a situation. And so I like that. That's very good. All right. Well, thank you, Diana. Don't be a stranger. I'm sure we'll see you down the road somewhere at a conference or something. I'm always seeing you guys out and about. So connect with Herd Institute, everybody. And yeah, thanks for being on, Diana.
Thanks so much.
All right. That's all for today. But until the next episode launches, scroll down to the show notes and click on the link to get plugged in with us on Facebook, Instagram, or our exclusive educational club at Patreon. This podcast is presented by Hetra University, the educational arm of Heartland Equine Therapeutic Riding Academy in Gretna, Nebraska. Hetra University's mission is to provide high-quality educational offerings to the EAS community. Check out all the Hetra University has to offer at www.hetrauniversity.org.